Do you ever wonder how the rich have so much money left each month and how they can keep increasing their wealth over time? It is because the rich think a lot about what they spend their money on, and if it will give them any additional value in life or it was just a temporary enjoyment which didn't get them any further. Here we will go through 12 things the rich people don't spend their money on, so you can see if you spend money on some of them and why they will hold you back from building wealth. So sit tight, and in the end you might be able to increase your wealth a little faster. My name is Daniel and I'm here to help people with personal finance and show how to start a digital side hustle of your own. If you're interested in improving your personal finance or start a digital side hustle of your own, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you found this video helpful. TV channels, streaming and video games. The rich don't really spend much money on TV channels, streaming and video games because they know that it is a big time sink. They might really enjoy sitting in front of a TV or playing a video game, but they would rather use that time to be productive and generate more wealth for themselves. By not using that much money on it, you will be less likely to feel tempted to sit down and use it. Regarding TV, streaming and video games, you can think whether you want to be a consumer or a producer, where either you produce additional content for the consumers to watch. So if you want to be rich, you need to learn to think like a producer and use your time to earn additional income. Impulsive buying. Rich don't spend a lot of money on impulsive buying, as they know it will be a waste of money most times. If we do impulsive buying, we don't really know if it is something we really need or if it is something we just carry home, put in a closet and never see again. The rich will rather think about if they really need the item or not, and if they need it, then they will buy it. But a good rule of thumb for impulsive buying in the beginning is to use the 24 hours rule. When you feel like buying something, then you wait 24 hours and see if you still want to buy it afterwards. If you still want to buy it, then it will probably be because you need it, and not just because you in a split second thought it was nice. Low interest savings accounts. The rich don't place much of their money in a low interest savings account, as they know there are better ways to make the money work for them. Examples for this can be the stock market, bonds market, crypto and real estate. They know that most of the time there is a better option for their money than a savings account, and they will study the market for when to strike. Rich people are not afraid of the financial crashes and stay out in cash at these times. They will see it as an outlet sale, and it is time for cheap buying and putting even more money into the market. Luxury brands. The rich don't spend much money on luxury brands, as they know that a lot of the time you are also paying a lot of money for just the name of a brand. It is not because they will always go for the cheapest option, but they know it is possible to get a similar quality in another brand but for less money. They will rather choose a lower price for a similar quality to make their money stretch longer. The rich don't try to look rich, as they are not trying to impress anybody with their look. If the rich want to impress somebody, then they will much rather do it by showing their assets. By choosing to spend less money on luxury brands, they will have more money left to build up their assets. Luxury vehicles. The rich don't spend much money on luxury vehicles, as they know vehicles are a liability in general. Most vehicles will fall in price over time, and you will have to spend money on them in order to use them. Vehicles require maintenance, gas and insurance, which is all stuff that will take money out of your pocket each month. The rich will much rather spend money on buying assets that will increase their cash flow each month, and that will increase in value over time. The rich might buy a luxury vehicle when they have become very rich and their cash flow can pay for it, but on their early journey they will rather wait till later. Expensive haircuts and self-care. The rich don't spend a lot of money on expensive haircuts and a lot of expensive self-care. They know that it all adds up over time and makes a really big bill, which they could have used on increasing their wealth. The rich know that there are cheaper alternatives which are just as good, and that a lot of the products are just sales tricks to get us to buy more. When we first start to buy, we will believe it helps, and we are locked in for a lifetime customer in an expensive product. The rich also don't think that much about what others think about their appearance, as it also can be a really big time sink, and they would rather use their time on generating additional wealth. Gambling and lottery tickets. The rich don't spend much money on gambling and lottery tickets, as they know that the chances of winning are really small and that the games all the time will favor the host. It is possible to be lucky and have a positive return, but if you play long enough, then the host will always win. That is how the gambling world is built up. But because you win sometimes and you might be positive sometimes, then it is very addicting to play. And for lottery tickets, they sell the dream. The dream of being able to quit your chores and just relax instead. It is not because the rich don't dream, they will just rather act on it and take their luck in their own hands instead of waiting for them to win. Late fees. The rich don't like to spend a lot of money on late fees because they believe it is stupid money. The rich are able to manage their money and budget to be able to pay on time, and in case they can't pay on time, then they are usually early on the journey to becoming rich, where they will have to learn how to avoid going bankrupt. The rich believe that it is okay to make mistakes, and if you go bankrupt with a company, then you will just have to learn from your mistakes. Next time they are able to pay the fees on time, because they have managed to crack the code on how to generating income. Interest on credit cards. The rich don't spend a lot of money on interest on credit cards. The rich believe that there exists bad debt and good debt, and credit card debt is definitely bad debt, which is why the rich will always pay their credit card bills on time. It is not because the rich won't use credit cards, because there are a lot of opportunities and good things in using credit cards, but they won't use it as debt. Credit card debt has a way too high interest rate, which will act as a vicious spiral, where it will dig yourself into a bad hole. It is much better to be able to take a low interest loan, which you are able to pay off over time. An overpriced home. The rich won't spend a lot of money on an overpriced home. The rich believe that their own home is a liability if they choose to live in it themselves, because it will take money out of their pocket each month. If the home is overpriced, then it will take even more money out of their pocket each month. This will slow them down in becoming rich, because they will have less money which they can use on assets. Building wealth is like rolling a snowball. If it picks up less snow with each roll, then it will take a lot more time to be able for the snowball to grow big. The rich will much rather grow a big snowball first and then afterwards use the cash flow to pay for an overpriced home. Material stuff. The rich won't spend a lot of money on material stuff, as they might never know if somebody is going to take it away from them. They will much rather spend their money on experiences, as nobody can take experiences away from us. They will be with us our entire life. This way they will get wiser each day and be able to use their experiences to gain happiness in life. Even though a rich person might go bankrupt once or twice before hitting the magic formula to building wealth, then they are always better off than when they started, because they have built up a lot of experiences which they can use for next time when they try again. When it is too cheap. The rich don't spend a lot of money on materials which are too cheap, because then a lot of the time the quality is also really bad and the things won't last as long as if you are paid a bit more for it. Because of this, you might end up paying more for the cheapest item than you were in the case where you have bought a bit more expensive item, but of much higher quality. The rich will much rather pay for a great quality, which will be cheaper over time, than to pay for the cheapest product right now that will break within a short period of time. Do you spend money on any of these things, or are you good at keeping your expenses low? Which expense would you like to stop with, and what would you like to use your money on instead? Comment below those things that you would like to stop spending money on, and we will encourage you to pursue it. If you are interested in more topics like this, subscribe to the channel. We will post new videos every week. And remember to hit the like button if you found this video helpful.